Chiefs Kingdom, we need to talk. The national conversation just dropped a new quarterback ranking, and suddenly Dak Prescott is being framed as the guy standing between Patrick Mahomes and another MVP. If you're feeling that twinge of déjà vu, you're not alone. Every season there's a new face the media lifts up as the Mahomes stopper, and this time it's Dak's turn in the spotlight. So tonight, we're breaking down what this ranking really means, why the MVP race is shifting, and how Mahomes and the Chiefs can flip the narrative in the coming weeks. Settle in, this one's going deep. Let's lay out the story. Quarterback rankings are never just numbers, they're narratives. Momentum, national windows, schedule quirks, and highlight moments all shape the way people talk about who's best right now. Dak's had a strong stretch, crisp decision-making, quick game precision, and the Cowboys have been stacking flattering box scores on big stages. That combo amplifies his case in a media environment that loves hot streaks. Meanwhile, the standard for Mahomes isn't great, it's impossible. He's judged against his own ceiling, every snap compared to years of postseason magic and MVP-level consistency. If a Chiefs win isn't cinematic, if a drive ends in 3 instead of 7, it becomes a referendum on the state of the offense. That's the burden of being the face of the league. This latest ranking is tapping into a familiar theme, voter fatigue. When a superstar owns the conversation for years, the audience starts looking for a fresh headline. Dak's form plus Dallas's market power equals heat. The narrative writes itself. Is this the year Mahomes gets blocked? But context matters. Kansas City is evolving offensively, integrating new pieces, and playing defense-first complementary football when needed. The Chiefs aren't chasing September fireworks, they're building a January identity. Rankings don't always reflect that. So how does a list bump Dak ahead of Mahomes and ripple into the MVP race? Start with timing. Early to mid-season runs feel bigger because they create the first impression. If those runs align with prime-time windows, the conversation sticks. Dak's rhythm in the quick game makes the Cowboys look machine-like, and efficiency on script during those first 15 plays always pops on national broadcasts. Mahomes, by contrast, plays a more elastic brand of football. He reads chaos like a second language, and that elasticity often reveals itself in high-leverage moments rather than first-quarter stat padding. The eye test for him isn't a clean sheet. It's the drive that shouldn't be possible, the third and forever that becomes a dagger, the improvised throwing lane that invents itself. MVP voters say, best player, then subconsciously drift toward cleanest stat line. That's where a mid-season Prescott surge can look like blocking Mahomes. There's also the supporting cast narrative. When the Cowboys' protection looks tight and the route timing is crisp, Dak's strengths shine. Decisive footwork, rhythm throws, ball placement to the leverage side. For Kansas City, the offense sometimes chooses patience over panic, leaning on the defense and field position while the pass game works through spacing and trust. That can mute the box score while still stacking wins. If you only glance at totals, you might miss the method. Another factor, thresholds that MVP voters latch onto. Whether it's touchdown pace, interception avoidance, or red zone dominance, voters like mile markers. If Dak hits a stretch where he checks all 3 and the Cowboys keep popping on national windows, the runway opens. Mahomes' path is different. His argument is often a tapestry, play quality across situations, winning downs late, carrying the structure when the structure breaks. It's harder to compress into a lower third graphic, but it wins in January. Finally, strength of schedule and travel matter. A stretch of opportunistic defenses can launch a quarterback into the MVP chat. A gauntlet of disguised pressures can introduce variance and a few choppy Sundays. The truth is, rankings tend to be snapshots. The MVP is a film, and we're nowhere near the final act. What can Kansas City do over the next month to recenter the Mahomes MVP narrative? Start by accelerating the easy buttons. Early down, high percentage concepts, fast outs, glance routes, and RPO looks can manufacture rhythm without sacrificing explosiveness. When the defense has to respect the quick game, the intermediate windows reopen, and those second window throws Mahomes loves become layups instead of heroics. Next, stress the middle of the field with layered route stacks. When defenses spin coverage toward the perimeter to cap explosives, Kansas City's answer is motion into condensed splits, then re-expand with crossers that collide with zone rules. Mahomes thrives when he can put linebackers in conflict and throw with anticipation to grass. A few series built around that middle-of-field manipulation can flip an entire half. Then be intentional about tempo shifts. This offense is deadly when it changes speed. Huddle, hurry, freeze. Defensive coordinators hate burning a timeout because the Chiefs caught them in a heavy look. 2 or 3 tempo punches per game supercharge Mahomes' control at the line, creating cheap 5 to 8 yard gains that keep the playbook in attack mode. Finally, red zone sequencing. Kansas City can reintroduce misdirection sprints and choice routes that isolate leverage on the short side. When Mahomes gets a defined picture inside the 10, his ball placement turns those windows into doorways. A cleaner red zone profile won't just boost points, it will reframe the narrative from grind to inevitable, and MVP talk follows inevitability like a shadow. Let's be real about the media machine. The Cowboys are ratings gravity. If Dak strings together a headline drive on Sunday night, the desk shows will build skyscrapers on top of it by Monday morning. That's not a knock, that's the ecosystem. Big brand, big audience, big narrative momentum. But here's what Chiefs fans know: Mahomes changes the geometry of the sport. He doesn't chase neat stat lines, he chases winning paths. Some weeks that means fireworks, other weeks it means field position patience and sudden strike moments in the fourth. When the discourse reduces best to most photogenic spreadsheet, it misses the thing that actually separates Mahomes: the ability to solve any football problem on demand. This ranking? It's oxygen for debate. It's content fuel. And it's also the kind of mid-season bulletin board material that Andy Reid quietly pockets for later. The show will move on, but the receipts never get lost in Kansas City. Zoom out to the AFC. You've got a cluster of teams that win with defense, a couple that live on rhythm passing, and a few that rely on explosive scripts. What tips the balance in January is the quarterback who can survive when Plan A gets shredded. That's been Mahomes, over and over, because he carries counterpunches in his back pocket. If Dallas surges and Dak keeps stacking clean, high-leverage wins, the cross-conference chatter will stay loud. But the road to a Lombardi from the AFC still runs through number 15. If this ranking is a challenge, consider it accepted. The Chiefs have spent half a decade turning "can they?" into "of course." So, did Dak Prescott just block Patrick Mahomes from MVP? For now, he might be holding the door. That's what hot stretches do, especially when they land in front of the biggest audiences. And if you're a Chiefs fan, that's fine. Let the conversation cook. It's good theater. It's also temporary. Kansas City's to-do list is clear. Sharpen the early down rhythm, lean into motion and middle-of-field conflict, keep the tempo lever handy, and clean up red zone sequencing. Do that, and the optics catch up to the substance. The MVP dialogue starts mirroring what defensive coordinators already know. There's still nobody you'd rather have with the ball when it matters. For now, enjoy the noise. The league needs mid-season debates. The Chiefs need wins and reps. The rest, awards, rankings, resumes, follows the tape. And Mahomes' tape, once the calendar turns, tends to speak louder than any mid-October list. If you made it this far, you're part of the heartbeat of this channel. We'll track every twist in the MVP race and every adjustment Kansas City makes down the stretch, so make sure you're locked in. Drop your takes in the comments and join the road to 5,000 subs here on Kansas City Chiefs Today.